Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Monday and welcome to this week's Sigyn video. We're going to be talking about how she is both the complement and the counterbalance of Loki's energies. In the context of Norse myth, quite often Odin and Loki are viewed as the balancing energies, Odin being order and Loki being chaos. And on the grand scale of the universe, I think that's perfectly accurate. But on the domestic front, it is not Odin who is the complementary energy to Loki's. It is Loki's wife, Sigyn. When I look at the composition of the pantheon, I'm not just looking at the gods as individuals, I'm also seeking to understand how they all relate to each other. Why do some of them get along and why are others always at odds? And depending on the context and whose point of view you're trying to understand, the lay of the land of what's going on and why looks quite different. The same holds true in our own lives. The person who's a complementary energy to us in our professional lives is most likely not the person who balances us in our personal lives. Sigyn is the eye of the hurricane, the unmovable object that challenges the unstoppable force, the earth and sea balancing fire and air. I base this on what followers of Sigyn say about her and my own intuition, so take that for what it's worth. We are in the territory of analysis and interpretation. The eye of the hurricane is a place of calm and stillness, but this is not to be confused with passivity. It's the center of gravity for the storm, a moment of feeling grounded and supported by the ocean floor itself, and then the water is soft and the rain is cleansing. But outside of the eye is a frenzy of activity, winds tossing up the water, going in a bazillion different directions at once, fire of lightning adding to the danger, and you just can't predict what happens next. This illustrates Sigyn and Loki in their most extreme aspects, and as different as they are, they still remain connected, and those forces are still balancing each other. Whatever it is, and however we choose to define or label that which binds them together, it is powerful, it is inescapable, and it manages to curb their more extreme tendencies. Sigyn is described as the quintessential housewife by many modern-day practitioners, and I find that rather dismissive, especially depending on their tone, both to the goddess herself and to the importance of homemaking. Now, to begin with, the art, craft, and profession of housekeeping is a skill. Even in modern times when our technology makes it so much easier for us to carry out these duties, it is still a skill. It requires hard work, intelligence, and time management skills. Let's not lose sight of how important that home was to Norse peoples, and the high regard in which women were held, especially comparative to women of other cultures of the time. To excel in homemaking was to garner respect. In the present day, I think it's past time to restore respect for this line of work, because it is work, and it is worthwhile, valuable, and dignified, no matter what feminist ideology is screeching to the contrary. Now, about a year ago, I recall watching a video that discussed the dynamics between Norse men and women and general expectations, and the conclusion was that outside of the home, the society functioned as a patriarchy, but inside the home, it functioned as a matriarchy. Yes, there were gender roles. Fetch your smelling salts if you need them. But the people of the time, everyone had a sense of whose job was what, and they allowed everyone to have their own domain in which they were the authority. And Loki and Sigyn's case, they too had their own domains. And as much as Loki's changed for being an agent, is criticized rather for being an agent of change, it was and is necessary work. Sigyn provides him comfort, healing, support, and nothing I've read or gleaned from my interactions with Loki has led me to believe that Sigyn doesn't have his full respect, admiration, and love. And where Loki is crafty, Sigyn is straightforward. Where he strategizes, she represents honest, resolute intentions. This is an excellent form of balance. Different problems require different approaches. There's not a one-size-fits-all mindset that's suitable for all occasions. I don't care what anybody says. Now, the lore doesn't elaborate about their relationship and how they manage their day-to-day affairs. If only we had details like that about the gods. But if we look to examples of human behavior, When we see two people who have different approaches about how to do something, they end up having to consult each other, negotiate about what to do and how to do it. They can provide perspective for one another because they're going to be noticing things that the other person won't. And in the best examples of this dynamic, that can lead to a better plan going forward. Now, the last area of balance I want to hone in on is this. Loki is the explosion, but Sigyn is the containment. Now, what I mean by containment is that she's fully equal to absorbing the full measure of his energy. Loki energizes Sigyn, and Sigyn soothes Loki. They naturally possess what the other person needs. That's why they can balance each other, and why they actually have a solid foundation in their marriage. So there's lots of food for thought here. So let me know what you think about all this. Am I on the right track, do you think, on the wrong track, or do you have an entirely different track I didn't touch on at all? Let me know in the comments below, or come see us on Discord at Blackbird's Brew. Link to join in the description box below, and let the conversations begin. But that'll do it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.